morning, students of class 10. Today I hope that all of you are good and staying at home and helping us to find with this coronavirus pandemic. Me, Shreya Ghosh, with the help of Anando Barta, trying to reach to you to take a class of history class 10 under the social science with the initiative of BURDWAN Model School. So this is the third class. I hope you have seen my other videos in the YouTube channel also, and this is the third class of the first topic of your syllabus of class 10's history syllabus, that is nationalism in Europe. In the previous classes, I have discussed about the reason of this nationalism, the idea of nationalism, and the role of definitely the French Revolution along with France in spreading the nationalism in Europe. Just a minute. Okay. And last day we ended our discussion with liberal nationalism, which was seen in France for the first time, that when some middle class educated people, they understood the meaning of liberation, the meaning of liberty, equality and fraternity, they tried to fix those ideas with nationalism. And nationalism, as I always say, it is a theory of loving your own country, your own nation is known as nationalism. It started in Europe. We have seen that through French Revolution, the nationalism spread in France, and as it spread in France with the French Revolution, the year was 1789. But after the French Revolution, we have seen that after the French Revolution, what happened, that people were having different difficulties in the politics or in the political history of France. The French people faced lot of problem, and in the year 1804, Napoleon Bonaparte again captured France and started to rule France in a old monarchical system. But Napoleon was very clever man. He understood that if you try to hold something and if you put pressure, if you want to hold something very strongly, then you cannot hold it. So he was a very liberal man. He understood that the French people have gone through revolution. They have tested the liberty. They have tested equality. So he never tried to rule them in an absolute manner. Then he never tried to rule the French people in a previous manner. What he did, he made a very liberal kind of ruling system. That is why in the year 1804 he published his Napoleonic Code, very famous. But as France was having all these facilities, they were having liberty, they were having equality, everything, they were having fraternity, other countries surrounding France, they were jealous. They were jealous of France, and the monarchies or the kings or the emperors were very, very frightened. Why? Because they saw what happened to Louis XVI. Louis XVI was publicly executed. He was killed. He was murdered. He was arrested. So the neighbors of France, they were very afraid that if something like the French Revolution happened in their country, what will happen? What will happen in other countries? And they wanted to defeat Napoleon, that is why. And they were successful in doing so in the year 1815. And with the battle called Waterloo, Napoleon was defeated. And when Napoleon was defeated, he were killed, or he died with his wounds later on. The other local neighboring kings and emperors, they held a meeting to settle down things in Europe. That was in the year 1815 in Vienna. And the meeting was known as the Vienna Peace Treaty. Vienna Peace In this Vienna Peace Treaty, the rulers of different other countries of Europe, they sat together and discussed how to undo the revolutionary ideas. My students, you are very well aware with the word undo. That means whatever was done, it will be cancelled. And in this treaty, a new conservatism was introduced. What is this new conservatism? Conservatives. Who are these conservatives? As you all are in class 10 and you have studied class 9, the social science history, you know who are the conservatives. Again, for your memory to be reshuffled, I am telling it that conservatives were those people who did not want any change. They wanted to live in the past. They thought that past is the best. Whatever was going on from age old is the best thing. There is no need of changing the rules and regulations. So, in the Vienna Peace Treaty, the rulers of Europe who were very conservatives, they again sat and brought back the monarchy in France. They brought back the age-old Bourbon dynasty ruler in France, and they cancelled all the democratic ideas, all the democratic rights, regulations which were implemented by Napoleon, and a rule of conservatism started in Europe, especially in France. But now tell me one thing, that you one day have tested the freedom and suddenly you were sent in a jail. It was told that you have to stay in a jail, like the situation we all are now. We used to go outside, we used to go shopping, we used to go school, we used to go to the playground. we used to watch movies, we used to go to restaurants, but now due to the coronavirus effect, we are all staying at home. We cannot go outside. Are we liking this? Are we enjoying this lockdown? Not at all. Not at all. We are now feeling bored, we are feeling frustrated, and we want this corona to go and everything should be normalized, right? Same thing happened with France. They have tested the revolution. They have tested the liberty. They have seen what a democratic republic can do. And then again they were put into chains. Again they were told to obey only one person, that is the monarch, that is the emperor. They were not liking it. They were not happy with it. And as France was not happy with it, other European countries were also not happy with this. They were looking at France and were waiting that let them do something, then we will follow. As once Duke Metternich, he mentioned that when France sneezes, the rest of Europe catches cold. Means if France only sneezes, the other European countries will feel the cold, will follow it. When France gone through the revolution, other European countries were preparing for their revolution. But now France has gone back to the monarchical system. Now what will happen? Will the French people obey it? Will the French people continue with it? Let's see what the French people have done. So the next part of your syllabus is the age of revolution. The age of revolution. That is the period 1830 to 48. You know, 1848 is the year when France became a republic. Finally, slavery was gone, everything was normal, and France was declared a republic in 1848. And France became a new conservative monarchical country in 1815 after the Vienna Treaty, right? So after Vienna Treaty in 1815 and 1848, France continued to have revolution. Not only France, other European countries also continued to revolt and bring back their own nationalism. That is why the time period between 1830 to 1848 is known as Age of Revolution. Within 15 years of the new conservative era, which started in 1815, within 15 years, that means in 1830, in the month of July, France or the French people started a revolt. Revolt in France. As this revolt started in the month of July, it is also known as July Revolution. It is also known as July Revolution of France of 1830. So the first revolution in the 1830 to 1848 was in France, where they have started to fight again for their freedom, for their nationalism. Okay? And as this goes on, as this trend goes on, we will focus to another country, small country of Europe, which started their revolution during this period. The new country was Greece. Greece was a very small country and a very beautiful country, beautiful. But Greece was under the Ottoman Empire since 15th century. The Ottoman empires of Turkey, they have captured Greece. The Greek people, they were not sharing the same kind of language. They were not sharing the same kind of history, not sharing the same kind of everything which they have. 1 minute. Hello? Hello? Huh. Good morning. আচ্ছা আমি বলছি ওদেরকে হ্যাঁ আচ্ছা এটা কোথা থেকে বলছেন কেটে গেছে সাউন্ড আসছে না আচ্ছা মানে সাউন্ডটা বোধহয় ক্লিয়ার নয় ঠিক আছে সো গ্রিস তো গ্রিস was under the Ottoman Empire. Okay, so Greece was not having any kind of relationship or similarity with the Ottomans, and they wanted a free independent nation. So they started their movement for the independent movement or national movement from 1821. From 1821, they have started the movement. 1 minute. Hello? আচ্ছা এটা কোথা থেকে বলছেন আপনি কাঞ্চননগর আচ্ছা আমি বলে দিচ্ছি হ্যাঁ ঠিক আছে সাউন্ড আসছে না কাঞ্চননগর হ্যাঁ Okay, so the Greeks, they have started their process in 1821. So 1821 was the year when the Greek, they began their fight for independence. But as I told, Greece was a very small country and the Ottoman Empire was big empire and they were very, very powerful. Okay, so as they were very powerful and as the Greek people were very small in number, the Greek people appealed to the European big powers to help them. They appealed to France, they appealed to Prussia. Germany was not there, Prussia was there. So Prussia, they approached Russia, they approached England, and all these big powers of Europe, they were ready to help Greece. Why? We don't do anything without any gain. Selflessly, nobody does anything in this world, right? So what were the properties or what were the incentives given to those big powers to help Greece? The problem was only that the European people, they thought Greece as the beginning of European civilization. You know that European history started with the Greek and Romans. So Greek and Romans, they have started their civilization from Greece. So whatever the Europe was there, whatever the Europe was available in 1821 or 19th century was the result of Greece. So that was the reason why the European big powers like England, France, Prussia, Russia, they were ready to help Greece. Understood? So not only them, not only the political power, but common people, poets, artists, like one poet whose name you know, whose name was Lord Byron. English poet, he was an English poet whose name was Lord Byron. He organized funds for fighting in Greece, and Greece started their journey. And finally, in the year 1834, Greece won the battle. Greece won its independence through the Treaty of Constantinople. Greece was given its independence from the Ottoman Empire. So again, to sum up what happened, we are in the age of revolution starting from 1830 to 1848. Among these, the first revolution what we get, it is the July Revolution of France. It is in 1830. And then we have the independence of Greece, or independence war of Greece, which ended sorry, it is not 1834, it is 1832. So in 1832, with the Treaty of Constantinople, we have declared the independence of Greece. So you can understand, like India was under the control of British, Greece was under the control of Ottomans. India got its independence in 1947 and Greece got its independence in 1832. The same thing. So like in India, what we had, what Mahatma Gandhi or Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose fought for, it's the nationalism. In Greece, what these people, Lord Byron or the European powers, they fought is nationalism. And in the age of revolution, they have fought. Understood? Fine. Now we will try to think or try to understand some other aspects of this nationalism. When we have started our discussion of nationalism, we have started with war, we have started with revolutions, we have started with march past, processions, rallies, everything. But all these are political methods. But not only political methods are important. To encourage people to fight for their nationalism, other aspects are also important, which is known as the romantic nationalism. Now, what is this romantic nationalism? Romantic, romance, what does it mean? It's a feeling of love, right? So feeling of love, feeling of romance does not only come with war, bloodsheds, murders, killing, processions, revolutions. You feel nationalistic with other forces also. Don't you think that when our team India with their blue jersey goes into a field with the bats or the balls or the pads or helmets, don't you feel nationalistic? When somewhere in the Olympic stadium, when somebody stands up and just above them there is the flag and the song, the Jana Gana Mana, starts to play, don't you feel nationalistic? When you go to watch a movie and you see the movies where soldiers are fighting, they're doing something for their mother country, don't you feel nationalistic? Yes, we feel. When we sing the patriotic songs, we feel nationalistic. When we play for our country, we feel nationalistic when we see any movies based on nationalism. That means there are other aspects of nationalism. Poems, songs, stories, novels, movie, cinema, painting, drama, dance can also bring nationalism to you. While we celebrate the 15th August, while we dance, while we sing, while we perform in a play, we feel nationalistic. We are not showing any revolution. We are not showing any protest, but we feel nationalistic. We become proud that, oh, yes, I am Indian. So, there is a lot of help has been given from this cultural segment of every country to the nationalistic feelings. Culture, it played a very important role in this regard. Like one romantic artist, like one man whose name is Johann Gottfried Herder, who is a German man who painted nationalism through his paintings. Like the first painting of Frederick Soriu, you can see in the first page of your book, shows the nationalistic feeling. How? Here you can see long march of people. People are lining up with national flags. Germany, Italy, France, they are all lining up. They are going to touch one statue, and this statue is a statue of liberty. They are touching the liberty. They are gaining nationalistic feeling, and as they are doing this, the God and the angels, they are blessing them. It's a feeling of nationalism. It's a painting through which unification, unity, nation and its symbols have been painted. It's a painting of nationalism. Through many folk tales, folk songs, folk dances, these artists have tried to portray the nationalistic feeling within you. Like fine, like in Poland, one man whose name was Karol Korpinski, he celebrated the national struggle with his operas, music and turning folk dances of Poland into a nationalistic symbol. Means if you talk in a local language, if you sing local songs, folk songs, if you perform dances on folk tunes, you can feel nationalistic. Sometimes we have seen that artists who are performing in dramas, on plays, which is based on the role of maybe Gandhi or Subhash, they feel a lot of encouragement, a lot of nationalistic feeling within themselves. Here I can mention one movie which I don't know whether you have seen it or not, whether you have watched it or not. That movie is known as Rang De Basanti, which was starred by many other characters and actors were there, but the main character was played by Amir Khan. And it was a movie which tells that a young generation, they didn't know about nationalism, they didn't loved their own country, but while playing the roles of Bhagat Singh, Sukhdev, Rajguru and other patriots, they started to understand the nationalism. They started to understand what is known as love for nation. That means that not only through war you have to prove that you love your country, you can show your love for your country through these other measures, which is known as romantic nationalism. Okay? Now we will go to another segment of the age of revolution, that is the revolution of the liberals. That is the revolution of the liberals. The year is again 1848. Remember, it is coming under this segment. What happened in this year and why I have written revolution of the liberals? Because liberals, you know who are the liberals, that they were in the middle. They wanted to bring change and they wanted to bring that change in a very slow manner. They were positive about the change. They knew that change is going to come and change is inevitable. So they were supporting the revolution and they wanted the revolution to happen. Right? So what happened in 1848 in Prussia, which is now the Germany? Okay, what happened in Prussia, that a large number of political minded, educated middle class, who were they? They were like doctors, teachers, lawyers, all these professors. They discussed among themselves and they formed one national assembly. They formed one national assembly with them, with the middle class people. You remember that after the French Revolution started, there was also a national assembly was created in class 9's French Revolution chapter. So here also we are getting another national assembly which was created in the year 1848 with the German people, with the Germans. What were their demands? They drafted a constitution. German people were then under the ruling dynasty of Prussia. It's not Russia, it's Prussia, P. So the Germans were under Prussia. And these Germans under Prussia, they wrote a constitution with the help of National Assembly. And what they wanted? They wanted to approach the Emperor of Russia, whose name was Wilhelm 4 to accept the constitution and start one constitutional monarchical system. Can you think of a country which believes in constitutional monarchy till today? Yes, it's Britain. Britain have a constitution, Britain has a parliament, but still they have the queen, they have the monarchy with them, right? So the Germans under Prussia, they wanted a constitutional monarchy. So in this way they drafted a constitution and wanted to propose that within in front of Wilhelm IV, the emperor. So how they will do it? On 18th May 1848 in Frankfurt, you know Frankfurt is today a very important and major city of Germany. So Frankfurt Parliament, so on 18th May 1848 in the Frankfurt Parliament at the Church of St. Paul, at the Church of St. Paul, at the Frankfurt Parliament, the National Assembly gathered to propose the constitution under Wilhelm IV. They never used any kind of pressure, they never used weapons, they never revolted. It was a peaceful procession of the people, and it was a peaceful procession of German middle class educated people for the demand of constitutional monarchy. But if the constitutional monarchy is applied, you know, the power of the king will be going down. The power of the king will be going down. So definitely the Prussian ruler will not love it. So they rejected the plan and asked army to go over this peaceful National Assembly. The army started beating them and disbanded them. So the first effort of doing all these, the first effort of going for the revolution ended through pressure, through a proper pressure, and people were having lots and lots of difficulties then. So here we have understood that how within the time period we have the revolution. First we have the July Revolution of France, then we have the Greek Independence League or fight for the independence of Greece, then we have the Germans' first attempt to start a constitutional monarchy. So I'll stop here today, and then in my next class we will see how finally Germany was unified and they made a republic from the monarchy. Okay, so all the best to my students. Thank you.